So, what do you think happens when two world leaders, both with a really strong nation-first vision, sit down and negotiate? Well, a pretty fascinating speculative article from Japan Forward imagines exactly that scenario: a summit between a potential Prime Minister Takaichi of Japan and a President Trump. Let's dive in and break down what the author thinks that could look like. Okay, so to set the scene, the article puts us in the very near future. We're talking October 2025. In this hypothetical, Sanae Takaichi has just become the Prime Minister of Japan, and she's come into office with a really clear mandate for change. And this quote, it really captures her mission perfectly. In her very first instructions to her new cabinet, she makes this promise: to turn anxiety into hope. It signals a real determination to pull Japan out of what the author of the article calls the funk it has been in. So how would a prime minister like this approach a relationship with a President Trump? Well, the author of this piece, Robert Eldridge, argues that, surprisingly, they might just be natural allies. Let's dig into why he thinks that. You see, the whole core of the argument is that both of these leaders would have gotten elected under pretty similar circumstances. The author suggests that a Trump presidency and a Takaichi premiership would both be the result of a conservative pushback against what the article describes as administrations with a highly leftist bent. And this really lays out the author's central parallels so clearly. You've got Trump's America First on one side, and on the other, what the author calls Takaichi's Japan First view of the world. The argument is that this shared ideological foundation would mean they'd be uniquely positioned to just get each other. Okay, so with that foundation set, the article then lays out a whole 10-point strategy for their first meeting. It starts with what the author thinks Prime Minister Takaichi should be asking of President Trump. The first ask is a really specific legal one. The author suggests Takaichi should request a revision to the Status of Forces Agreement. That's basically the rulebook for U.S. military personnel in Japan. The goal would be to better handle these tough paternity cases where service members leave the country without providing child support. All right, next up is a big geopolitical request, this one about the Senkaku Islands in the East China Sea. The author urges Trump to put an end to what he calls America's contradictory neutrality and just officially re-recognize the islands as Japanese territory, which would be a reversal of a policy from way back in 1972. The third ask kind of positions Trump in a very specific role, what the author calls this era's global peace broker. The idea is for Takaichi to ask for American help in trying to finally resolve these really long-standing and difficult issues Japan has with North Korea, South Korea, and Russia. Now, this final point it's pretty culturally sensitive. The author proposes that Takaichi should ask the U.S. to respect Japan's right to view its history in its own way. And specifically, what that means is for the U.S. not to protest if the Prime Minister visits Yasukuni Shrine, a memorial for Japan's war dead that's also quite controversial. But hey, a negotiation is a two-way street, right? The author argues that for Japan to get these asks met, it would need to come to the table with some really significant offers in return. So what's the headline offer? It's a massive commitment on defense. The author suggests Takaichi should promise to increase Japan's defense spending all the way up to 3% of its GDP. And get this, do it within just 2 years. And the offers wouldn't stop there. According to the article, Japan would also commit more to the defense of Taiwan, propose a new mutual disaster assistance agreement, offer to share top-tier technology like complete cipher for unhackable communications, and really expand cooperation in science, energy, and education. So, okay, you've got the asks on one side and the offers on the other. But what's the ultimate goal here? What's the whole point of this grand diplomatic strategy that the author is laying out? Well, the author's endgame is nothing short of ambitious. This isn't just about making small tweaks to the relationship. The goal is to fundamentally elevate the U.S.-Japan alliance to a whole new, unprecedented level of partnership. Which really leaves us with this final, pretty provocative question that the article's whole premise is built on. It gives us a look at a potential future where America First and Japan First don't actually clash, but maybe they align. What do you think the outcome of that would be? Definitely something to think about.